What's up, guys? So, welcome to the Daily Grind. I'm a little late today because, I had a long day. I don't know. What time is it? It's almost 7 o'clock at night. It doesn't matter, right? As long as I get on here and talk to you guys for a while. So, let's look at the news. Before I talk about the news, at some point in the day, I'm going to speak a little bit about relationships. A lot of us don't realize it, but we're actually in a relationship with everything around us. It doesn't matter if it's a tree or a bush or a bird or a dog or a friend or a mom or a dad. You're always in some kind of relationship in your mind between you and that thing. And so, how well you interact with that thing and person has to do with your image of self, which can be projected onto that person as far as how you view them. So if you're always trying to put yourself in like a positive light in comparison to somebody, which is really dangerous to do, then you get this feeling of self-righteousness, and then at the same time, it's just as bad to see yourself in a negative light, comparing yourself to anybody else, because then you're seeing yourself as not good enough to speak to somebody or something like that. Sorry, excuse me. I just got done drinking some water. Anyway, all those things are not healthy, right? Always think of yourself as this unlimited being of potential. I'm claircognizant in a lot of different ways. That's why I started this YouTube channel, is to try and educate the public about, the true nature of reality and how it applies to our own life. We don't really understand how the nature of reality really impacts the way we think on a day-to-day basis. When you start to understand that everything is you manifesting itself according to its own understanding, then it changes the way that you look at other people and things that are happening around us, especially as we move forward through time-space or space-time. Very interesting. But, of course, and one thing I'm really good at, something I've always been good at, is feeling where you are, if I'm interacting with you, on your own level of growth and understanding. Because, once you do a lot of introspection, and it's not that I am better or anything like that, it's just that it's just work. It's all inner work. So, if you do enough of the inner work, then you can help people get to places where they need to be in order to do the work necessary to ascend their consciousness. And as soon as you start ascending in consciousness a lot more, you're able to, it makes this life a lot less stressful, because then you start merging into the part of the organism where you're supposed to be and how you're helping people. So, all of us are here for each other. And, until we figure out what our heart tells us, what we're supposed to be doing for each other, then, we're just kind of blah, 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 or flopping around like fish out of water, doing stupid stuff. Anytime you're working for somebody else, you're usually creating stress. Now, there is a, thing about partnering with people. Partnering with people is super healthy in the right way, where you're holding each other accountable and you're not elevating one of you above each other. That's the problem with the business community and what they're doing.
Right.
Yes.
What's your YouTube channel name?
I am the fool.
Okay.
Why?
Oh, just telling Easton.
Oh, is he watching it?
No, he was just curious what your YouTube channel name was.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, guys. Let's look at the news here real quick. U.S. Sultan, doesn't interest me. Golf. I love golf, so it's always going to show me. What is the shape of the universe? All right, we got to watch. We got to see this one. The Virgo supercluster. The universe may seem shapeless because it's so vast, but it does have a form that we can observe. It's a torus field, right? The universe is flat? What? We're not in a flat world. To this flat universe. Light left over from Big Bang, the rate of expansion of the universe at different locations. Oh my God. Well, yeah, everything looks different to everybody else, right? Because you're observing from a different point of angle. That's why even light travels at different speeds depending on which area you're viewing it from. Let's finish the video. I don't know if I'm, jumping into copyright infringement by watching some of these videos. I'll find out, right? I mean, I'll get copyrighted and I won't be able to upload this video. The amounts of positive and negative energy in the flat universe are exactly the same. Duh. And therefore cancel each other out. It has to, right? Everything has to come back to neutrality because everything comes from and collapses back to one point. The universe has curvature. A flat universe corresponds to a universe with zero energy. Yeah, it's zero and infinite at the same time. As soon as you pull yourself into space-time, it's infinite. And as soon as you're out of space-time, it goes back to zero. Rapid expansion, expanding outward, remarkable speed, stretching out. It's breathing. It's not just infinitely expanding from one point of blah, which doesn't make sense, right? It's breathing just like everything else. I'm breathing, you're breathing, everything's breathing. Evidence for the flatness of the universe shows up in what's known as the critical density. At the critical density, a hypothetical universe would be flat and would eventually stop expanding. But only after an infinite time, according to Swinburne University of Technology in Australia. A hypothetical universe were denser than this, it would be curved like a sphere. Yeah, they're just thinking of three-dimensionally, right? You're not thinking of light slowing down from source because it's light's traveling at infinite speed at source, and it's 100% coming from that source. As soon as you start moving away from source and light slows down, then you're at a percentage of pull versus provide, if that makes sense, right? Everything is expanding and contracting, breathing. So the farther you get away from source, the more you're breathing in and pulling in from your outer environment. So that's what we see right now. This is our evolutionary chain that we're going through right now, right? We're becoming a higher level being, growing more complex. And so we're actually moving more energy, which means that we're going to be breathing in less and breathing out more. And everything stays in balance, but if it's out of balance or everybody's breathing in, then you need things like money and big storages of energy, right? So that you can pull off your environment without needing to expend in your environment. So that's what causes stress. That's the main cause of stress, is that when you've got an internal trauma, fear, anything like that, where you're pulling off your environment all the time, and it manifests itself in a lot of different ways. Thinking negatively about each other forces you to have to go to work for a system that's controlling. Like if you're working a government job, it's government is control, and it creates so much waste that it's just piles and piles of waste, and all you're doing is managing time and waste. Ugh, I've been in those jobs. I've been in more than one types of those jobs, and if they continue to go down the avenue of control, when you're trying to control people, the waste just keeps piling up, and it makes everybody just less and less likely to want to go to work there. And so people on the weekends, in order to get rid of all that stress from going into a system that's trying to control you, you just kind of go overboard in the other direction, right? You just I gotta let it go, and just blah, right? And so every relationship around you is basically a reflection of your relationship with yourself. Because if you're not aware that you're putting ourselves through this stuff, then that's what we put ourselves through. And once you understand that and kind of evolve out of that, it really humbles you, because you realize that that's where everybody else is wanting to go, right? Our hearts want to be free, so we want to get out of whatever system of control we're in, or if we're in a bad relationship that's, we're not getting anything out of it. If you're putting into it all the time and it doesn't feel like you're getting anything out of it, then nobody likes that. Nobody wants that. It's just becomes so toxic, where it feels like it's draining you all the time. It feels like you have to get yourself away to just, relax. Yeah. And so, when mastering yourself is a big thing, and understanding that you don't have to do those things. You can be free, and you can do what it feels like you need to do for the people around you. I don't generally do, and I might do these. I don't know. I really on the fence as far as doing like psychic readings to feel, where you guys are at. There's a lot of YouTube channels that do this. The problem is, and I've always thought about this. If you're looking for guidance outside yourself, you're not in tune with yourself, and so a lot of times looking for too much information out there that is you could misinterpret, and you could even think that somebody's out to get you for whatever reason, right? I mean, and if you're living in some kind of delusion like that, then that can wreak its own type of havoc. So I encourage you guys, just to be careful what you're seeing on YouTube, what you guys are watching. Always assume the best, and because even if somebody is acting out of character, somebody is attacking you, they're just attacking themselves. As long as you keep your thoughts pure and understand that if you fall into states of depression or something, it could be somebody thinking very negatively about you or something, or because we're living in this unified field of consciousness. So you need to be able to sit back and recognize, it's like, hey, look, I'm fine. Why do I feel this way? And mastering yourself in that aspect takes a lot of work, but it's worth it, right? And then you realize about your own power, your own power to manifest the life that you want. All you have to do is create that vision in your mind of what you want to achieve, or not only goals that you want to set, but what you want, right? And then just allow the universe to work its magic. Don't expect any kind of definite direction it's going to go. Just accept that you're going to be taken care of. As long as you're putting positive energy and love and light to the people around you, then you're always going to be taken care of. And you'll be getting rid of all those generational traumas, pulling your whole family lineage out of generational traumas that way. False perceptions that we have of ourselves, that were just passed down through the years. It's a powerful thing when you can, you want to be able to pass that on to your children, right? And don't allow, or don't let your children. All of us want to fix, the problems of the past generation. That's what growth is all about. So, yeah, I think I talked about that enough, right? You guys get it? Okay. I won't go there anymore. So, what else do we got here? Shape of the universe. Get up to 90% Temu discount. I don't know what Temu is. If you guys know what Temu is, put it in the comments. Let me know. Not sure. Arnold Schwarzenegger weighs in on Bruce Willis's retirement. Deserts as carbon sinks. Uh-oh, here we go. Study reveals potential for greening arid regions. So, like I talked about in a previous video, if the poles are moving, everything's going to change. This is one thing that people just need to get in touch with, because it's going to seem like things are falling apart when things are just changing, if that makes sense. You can't prevent where the poles are going to go on the planet if we're moving into an opposite pole of the galaxy. So anybody that tries to sell you any kind of idea on a controlling climate change, just tell them it's like, you can't control life, and it's always correcting itself. So it may look like a temporary bad thing. Like, I just saw an article or saw a show talking about how so many different sea life creatures have gone to the wayside through fishing and other things, that shrimp have actually exploded. And so there's a lot of seals will start eating shrimp more, because it's a plentiful resource in the ocean right now. There's less of the other types of fish that they were eating, so they just start eating that. Well, it's not technically a bad thing, right? It's okay for things to change. And for one thing, you're going to see migrations totally change. I think in the Pacific Northwest here in the Puget Sound, they've started seeing like bluefin or yellowfin tuna, bluefin tuna. We normally only have albacore. And so there's some types of fish that are coming into the sound that we've never had before. And it could be because of trends of warming waters that are moving into areas where it's getting colder in other places and warmer in other places. So, don't automatically assume that the whole planet is cooking or cooling. It's just things you're moving around. Where I'm living now in 15 years could become a tropical zone if we go through a massive shift where the energy levels keep going up and up and up and just boom, flashes over to where the poles are in a totally different spot. Obviously, there's going to be like biblical level events where you've got massive earthquakes and things like that. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to die. It's just everything's just kind of got to move around, and then people have to figure out what they need to farm and what they need to do in areas that have changed, or maybe move to another place in the world that's different. That Antarctica used to be like a rainforest. They found evidence of all kinds of different plants and stuff in the geological record, down deep in Antarctica. So there isn't anything. Don't ever assume anything. And the best thing is just to go along with the ride, relax, and just be something for the people around you that you know you can be, right? Be loving and supporting. I'm gonna stop talking about that. 500,000 truck accessories. Artificial brain reveals the genetic origins of autism spectral disorder. So I've actually been thinking a lot about this. When you sit down next to people that have specific, it's like an information block, or a high functioning information circuit where it leaves other parts of the body that isn't talking as well. So autism is really interesting about that. There's people that have autistic talents where they're like plugged in to a certain wavelength, right? And the other wavelengths suffer because of it. I think that's the best way to talk about autism. So I think I think autism research is going to continue to expand, especially once people realize that we're just these vibrating beings of intelligence that can manifest ourselves as soon as we get in tune to certain wavelengths. That's all psychics and clairvoyants are doing. I can pick up on you guys, and the overall feeling is pretty good. If you guys have made it this far in the video, you guys feel pretty good to me. And yeah, just know that you're that's what you are, and so you can create whatever you want to create. You're just a manifestation of a vibration of the way you think about yourself and the way you think about the people around you. And anytime you kind of fall into anything that's less powerful than you actually are, you're causing yourself stress, right? So I think I'll leave it at that today. I think I've blabbed enough for you guys today. It wasn't real news today. It was more like, maybe try to pump you guys up a little bit. Like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you like to do, if you're interested in doing a personal reading, I would love to sit down and do a personal reading with you. I think there's a link on my YouTube channel where you can get a hold of me and schedule a call. If not, you should be able to send me an email or give me tell me in the comments if you can or can't, and I'll mess with it in my settings. But I just love meeting people. Even if you guys decide to, hey, I want to podcast with this guy and I want to challenge his ideas on, how things work. I'd love to talk to you. Always open for new openings of understanding and people's points of view, because I love hearing where you guys are at, what you guys think about, and how you guys are trying to live your own life of the way that you want to live it instead of living it the way someone else wants you to live it. So, love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.